Now, one of those orders requires the federal government to only acknowledge biological sex and not recognize gender identity. Maddie France joins us in studio to explain what the order does and who it'll impact the most. Good evening, Maddie.
Hey, John. This executive order rescinds several of former President Joe Biden's executive orders. Under Trump, gender identity and sexual orientation won't be protected under the Civil Rights Act or Title IX. LGBTQ people also won't have protections against discrimination in housing or health care, and transgender people might not be able to serve in the military. A Quad Cities LGBTQ advocate says this order makes his community more vulnerable than ever. And a warning, this story talks about suicide.
I think this is one of the darkest days that our country has ever known.
For decades, Reverend Rich Hendricks of the Metropolitan Community Church has been advocating for LGBTQ rights.
What I've heard from a lot of people in my congregation and outside my congregation is dismay, despair, fear.
He says the executive order removing discrimination protections for LGBTQ people will only increase hate.
I see a lot of despair and a lot of increased suicides. I see a lot of increase in bullying.
There are about 1.6 million transgender people in the U.S., about 0.5% of U.S. adults, according to Reuters. 40% have attempted suicide. That jumps to 56% in transgender youth, according to the National Institute of Health.
They already have the highest rate of suicide of any particular group that exists, right? Because of not being able to fit in and people not accepting them.
A study by the Trevor Project found that state-level anti-transgender laws have a direct impact on transgender youth. Those laws increase suicide attempts by 72%.
It hasn't been a good day for them, and they don't have a lot of good days to look forward to.
Hendricks encourages those affected by the order to seek out people and places that support them. He asks others to show kindness wherever they can.
But we can come together as community and have hope and work for a much better society.
Now, Hendricks says there are multiple accepting churches in the Quad Cities, including his own. He recommends turning to faith to find hope. John?
All right, Maddie, thank you. And we have more on Trump's long list of executive actions on our website, WQAD.com.